All right, welcome. This is a big day. Happy New Year to all our viewers out there across the globe, to the millions and millions out there. We'd like to wish everybody a very happy, safe, prosperous, and peaceful 2021. We are very, very excited about what we have in store for you today. As you can see already, we're going to shortly do the introductions, but you can see some very esteemed guests that are here to stay with us for the next 45 minutes to an hour. Joining us in this big inflection point for us as the neutral zone, we have officially been renewed for season 2, and you're watching season 2, episode 1 of the neutral zone. So welcome to 2021. I'm going to pass it over to Stomps to welcome you all. Then I'm going to do a little rundown of what we got going, and I'll pass it back to Stomps. There you go, Stompsy.
Happy New Year, everyone. This is one, I'm not a big fan of New Year's. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's the end of the holidays. You know, it's kind of, you got to go to work on Monday, and it's like, oh, man. I mean, I like the last quarter of the year from October through the end. And I know a lot of people see New Year's as a time for renewal, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking at it this way coming off of 2020. But I'm just not a big fan of New Year's Day. I'm just a little down in the dumps today, guys. You know, you're gonna have to pick me up here.
Well, we'll certainly do that. And with the two guests we have on here who exude positive energy, enthusiasm, and hope, I'll tell you a real quick thing before we get started. Stomps, this might pick you up, or you might want to jump through the screen and start choking me. But I read something interesting this morning about 4 candles. There's 4 candles. The first candle is the candle that's lit with peace. That candle in 2020 was starting to dim. The second candle was lit with love. That candle was starting to dim a little in 2020 because we didn't get to see all the people that we wanted to see regularly. The third candle was lit with faith, and that candle also started to dim. And ultimately, all 3 of those candles slowly extinguished. But the 4th candle never burnt out. And you know what that candle is lit with? What was that?
Hockey.
Which is related to what I'm about to say. That 4 candle is lit with hope. And I'll tell you, that 4th candle is the candle that lights the other 3 candles. Peace, love, and faith. So if we have hope, which I know we all do because we have that belief, we can light candles and we can have a greater 2021 because we've learned a lot. And Stomp, you said this to me and you continue to remind me that we have learned a lot in 2020, and 2020 wasn't all that bad. And if you take that time to go through what we learned and accomplished in 2020, it's been a great year. But let me tell you something, guys, before I give it back to Stomps, we got some really, really exciting things coming your way in 2021. After this show, on popular demand, we are going to do an NHL preview show where we're going to talk about the new conferences and divisions that are set up for the NHL. This has come to us from a request by Lou Mangini, who really wants to see this. We're also going to do a ladies neutral zone episode. Please get ready for that. So I'd say Larissa, Danielle, and Eileen, put your schedules aside, make time for us. We're going to do something that we haven't done, which is a Bearcats episode. I think we definitely need to have the Bearcats on here. A Toros episode. We didn't do a Toros episode. And then today, before we get to today, we're going to do a Valentine's Day episode as well as a St. Patrick's Day episode. But without further ado,
Oh, man.
This is a big episode because we are welcoming 2 very, very special guests here, goaltenders, which to me, what we want to do is we want to unmask those masks tonight. We want to see what's behind those masks. We want to get into you guys' minds. We got two excellent goaltenders here. They have mutual love and respect for one another. So we feel like we're going to have a great show, and Stomps is going to take it away, maybe introduce these two amazing guests to our show. One of them's been here before. We love having them. And the next one is a real treat to have as a first-time guest. Take it away, Stomps.
Yeah, the goaltenders are the heart and soul of our game, for sure. So I'd like to welcome for the first time to the show Rocco Giampietro. And I'm sure when Billy sees his name, he thinks of Rick DiPietro, another quality Italian goaltender.
Yeah, he had a short career, though.
Yeah, well, he made a lot of money, though, Rocco.
Yeah.
He made quite a bit of scratch. But we welcome you to the show, and, of course, our longtime friend, William Jacques. Welcome back, guys.
Yep, happy to be here, guys. Happy New Year.
Yeah, you're both looking great sporting your beards, although I got to say, Rocco, your beard is unbelievable. I mean, I think it grows in even more every week that passes. It's tremendous. It's looking great. I think a lot of people have been sporting beards through this pandemic. I keep shaving, but that's my issue.
Yeah,
hey,
I've been
guys.
letting it go.
Yeah. So, hey, yeah, let's get into this a little bit. I mean, I know we did a goalie show previously, right, Nav? I mean,
We did.
talked.
We had Billy Jacques and Mark Dante on that show.
That's right. Wow. I think, didn't that show go for about 3.5 hours? I mean, it was, those guys wouldn't stop talking. No, I'm just kidding. But let's start. Rocco, since you're new to the show, I want to start with you.
All right.
Talk a little bit. What goalie or goalies out there have influenced you as a goaltender?
Like from watching like the NHL and stuff like that, or
Anything. NHL, okay. AHL, ball hockey, circles.
Okay. Well, let's see. I'd say we'll start with my favorite NHL goalie, and who I always like tried to play like, and I think that'd be like Jonathan Quick. Back in watching him back in like from 2010 all the way to up into recent 2015, 2016, just the way he moves to the crease and how flexible he is. I always tried to play like that and play as fast and as flexible as him. So that's one guy. I can't do the splits like him. I tried doing that once and I ended up hurting myself. But watching him from the NHL, and then I want to talk about some of the goalies that play at Woodridge too that I watch. So like Billy here, he's great goalie, always great positionally, and you never see Billy having to make like a huge desperation type save. And I mean, he's done it before. We've seen him do it, but he doesn't have to do it that often. He's always positionally sound. He lets the ball come to him. He's never fighting the play. And then guys like Jordan and Troy, who's been out there a little bit more recently, watching those guys and how they're always in position, their gloves always up, their blockers always up. Like I said, letting the ball come to them. I try to learn from those guys because I didn't start off playing goalie. I've been doing that for 10 years, but I started playing ice hockey. So I don't want to say I'm new to playing goalie because I'm really not, but like I took the hard route and been trying to teach myself. So
that's a great answer. I mean, great answer, because I think Jonathan Quick was the first goalie I thought of when I saw you play. Just in the
some guys have called me that before.
Yeah, and that's an excellent answer. How about you, Bill? I mean, I don't even know if we asked you the same question on the last time. So, you'll probably go a little deeper further back into history of who influenced your play, maybe.
You're on mute.
Yeah, he's muted. Can't hear him.
Bill, we're not hearing you.
We can't hear you. It's okay.
Approach the position.
There you go.
There it is.
You want to start off, Billy? Billy, you want to start off? Billy,
We're not getting them. If you remember, we had the same issue the last time he was on the show because of his bad internet connection or whatever it is. That
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
now we can.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I don't know what happened there. I said Eddie Belfour because of how he approached the position, because of his feistiness and because of his positioning, and the way he approached the position to me was a little flashy, but a little crazy, but he got the job done.
So Billy, yeah, I mean, I would say Eddie Belfour's a good comparison of your style, just the battler. That's what Eddie Belfour was. And it wasn't just the rough stuff that he would occasionally get involved in, but he just battled to make saves. He was pretty good at handling the puck, I thought. There's not a lot of the goalies don't really handle the ball. I don't see too much in our game. Nobody's going behind the net and playing the ball or anything like that. It's just probably almost impossible to do on your feet. But anyway, all right. So we got Jonathan Quick against Eddie Belfour. Any thoughts there, Nav?
Yeah, I mean, Eddie Belfour, I mean, I would have picked that for Billy as well, just again, because it's like what Rocco said, and Rocco probably pays attention a lot more to, other goalies and kind of their style than I would. But I would say that's a pretty good comparison between Billy. And I'll tell you, I've been playing in front of Billy and shooting on Billy for years. One of the things that he does really well is he just takes away the net from the shooter. I mean, he's big, he stands up to it, he gives you very, very little. And I like to use this example with goaltenders like Billy. You got to wake up in the morning real early to beat him, and it's got to be a really good shot. In terms of Rocco, just to add to Rocco, we faced you, Rocco, as the 9-inch males in that tournament in Woodridge. And again, we walked into that game and our strategy was, we're going to have to make you move side to side as much as possible to wear you down. It was a great game. You played phenomenal. We were able to squeak by you guys. But one of the things with you that we try to do is try to get second, third chance opportunities, because you're going to make that first save and you're going to do it with a lot of confidence. So those are just kind of my initial two observations. Please don't take that as an insult, guys. I mean,
No, not at all. Not at all.
I think both of you guys are tremendous goalies.
Yeah, I mean, I think as someone who plays out, obviously, these are two tough guys to score against. I mean, with Rocco, he's going to get you with his quickness, even if, there's a open net or good chance. He's got a great glove. Billy's got a great glove too, but you said it about his positioning. It was a week or so ago, Bill. You came back, you played at Woodridge. And I mean, you robbed me about 3 or 4 times on the doorstep. I mean, I was wide open, great chances, and I didn't pussyfoot those shots either, and you still beat me. But yeah, so, and I think you guys talked about this in your first answer, but maybe you could expound on it a little bit, Rocco. I mean, how would you describe your style of play? I mean, obviously the Jonathan Quick comparison is there, but I mean, what do you like style-wise? What are your thoughts there?
Well, I try to always be in the butterfly rather than if you're talking about stand-up, hybrid, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I definitely am more in the butterfly than anything. Even on the first shot that I see coming in, I usually always drop down to my knees. I'm usually not standing up making a save. So and that probably hurts my game a bit because considering I'm only 5'8" and I'm already dropping down, most shots usually beat me up high. So maybe I should change up my style a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, definitely, I'd call myself a butterfly goalie.
That's fair. You may not want to admit all this stuff because you're revealing your secrets to all the players.
Yeah. Oh, they know it. They see it.
Yeah, I'm kidding. But how about you, Bill? I mean, Bill, I don't see you down a whole lot, honestly. You're almost like a hybrid in a way. I mean, you stand up quite a bit more than I think people might think.
The older I've gotten, I have become more of a stand-up goalie. The butterfly thing was a thing of the past for me because I was able to get up and down quickly. I've had a couple knee surgeries, so that kind of prevented that a little bit. But yeah, I'm more of a stand-up goalie. Let the ball hit me and try to hang on to it. I watch guys like Rocco, and it reminds me of 20 years ago. Phenomenal pad level, phenomenal glove and blocker, battles on everything, and enjoys the game. That's the part of this thing that you can teach yourself or have somebody else teach you. But a lot of this stuff is your love of the game and you're battling for the ball. Because as a goalie, you're the last line of defense. It doesn't matter. You're supposed to stop the ball. Your job is to stop the ball. And I think I see that in Rocco. He's a phenomenal young goalie, and he's a great kid. I hate to say the word kid. I don't mean kid, but kid compared to us. But he's a phenomenal player, and I love to see stuff like this. It gives me a little more push to try to stay in there and still be a good goalie at this age. But I love it. I enjoy watching guys like Rocco and Troy, and I even like my guy Art. He battles on everything. You want to talk about a battler? That guy is battling on everything. It's good to see. Jordan, who went out to a tournament with us in Pennsylvania and did a great job. He did. We had a game and we needed to win it to move on, and he won us the game. He played well. So it's nice to see things like this. I think in the future, getting guys like this out on the road and doing this together, they'll see all the wonderful things about our sport. Not just playing at Woodridge and playing in Palatine and doing these tournaments and leagues, that traveling out together. I've done this for a lot of years, and I don't remember the games, but I remember all the interactions and having dinners and lunches and messing around with each other and stuff. That's the stuff that you remember. This sport is great for that. And Rocco obviously can play on any team that he wants because he's so good. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see him do that.
Well, you kind of segued into what I wanted to say about, as we're trying to build up the sport. And I think in some ways the pandemic has helped us build up the sport in the local area. If you just were keeping track of your phone this morning on the Hockey Monsters in terms of how many people want to play on Sunday, you can see that there's never been that kind of, and Billy, you can attest to this. You and I have been going to Woodridge for years. You can attest to the fact that there's just so much more enthusiasm. We got 3 full-time games on Sunday. But the segue that I was talking about is we are the neutral zone. You're tuned into, season 2, episode 1 here. We got 2 amazing guests here with Rocco and Billy. The one thing I'd say, Billy, to add on to what you're saying is if I was putting together like a Chicago super team in terms of ball hockey and I was going to travel, and I don't mean this as a knock on the other goalies, but these are my 2 choices right here. These are the 2 guys I would bring to that tournament. And listen, this is not taken away from those other great goalies, but I've been watching you guys. I've been studying your game. I've been seeing your commitment to your trade. Also, the one thing about you both that I like, and it's a little harder for Billy because the fact that he's been doing it for so many years, but you guys are coming every day to continue to learn. I think you come here, you come to the game and you want to learn something new. And I think that's terrific. That's a sign of humility. So, I mean, no disrespect to the other goalies. I love all the goalies, but these are 2 guys that I would sort of just carry with me in a tournament. So I just wanted to share that with both you guys.
Thanks, Neff.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that was well said, Billy, about the camaraderie of our game. You kind of remember those get-togethers and those dinners and those just hanging around, shooting what. That's what makes it special. I mean, sure, the game is fun. We love the game. We compete. But I just enjoy being around my fellow competitors and teammates, and that's what I find most gratifying. But so let me, Rocco, back to you real quick. we got a lot of really good players at Woodridge. I think it's impressive between, some veteran guys and some newer guys that have come on board this year. Like what kind of give me some offensive guys that give you the most trouble.
Okay. Well, to start, I'd say recently, let's see, Timmy's probably number one. He's just unpredictable out there with his shot.
Surprise.
Yeah, you knew that was coming. Then he hasn't been here that often recently, but Mike Scalziti, he's got a really quick shot and he's able to move. He plays similar to like John Kelly almost. Those two guys kind of have like a similar game where they're able to take the ball like across their body quick and change up the angle of the shot. And they have lasers. And then Ronnie Coletta too, but he plays more of like a power forward compared to like John Kelly and Mike Scalziti. But those four guys, they're tough. When they're coming down, I get a little nervous. They're unpredictable.
Any love for the defensemen that have point shots?
Yeah, no, sorry, Nap. Yeah, there's you got a hard point shot. Who else am I thinking on the point? Tommy, he's been missing because he was hurt with that foot injury, but he's got a wild, unpredictable shot. Sam, both Sams, for that matter, their shots are hard to read. I'm trying to think who else is at the point there with hard shot. Shelly, yeah. I haven't really played against him often though. I'd have to think about that one, but those guys that I named, they're tough. It's hard to make saves on those guys.
Hey, don't forget about Frank Klein. He'll let us know if we don't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Bill? I mean, the same question to you. We may have asked this the last time, but we'll ask it again.
Timmy is pretty funny because it's the obvious answer because he has 9,750 goals. So chances are he's beat a lot of us a lot of times. So Timmy is the obvious answer. There's a lot of guys, and the more this thing grows out there, and I love to see it with all the guys that help out and run this. Obviously with Eric and Lou and Andre and Stevie. And Frank and everybody who runs this stuff. That I think this pandemic has created everybody getting together and creating all this stuff. But I sorry to get off the subject. I mean, everything that Rocco said. I mean, that Kelly kid, I can't stop him. He never lets you set as a goalie. Never lets you set. As a goalie, it's very important to set your body. And he doesn't let you set your body because it's off a stick before. It seems like you're moving when he's shooting at all times. And it's really difficult. The guys at the points, obviously the Chellies, the Navs, Frankie, who can play both forward and D, is hard to stop because his shot moves. The Mike Scalzettis and Ronnie Juniors and Joe Ludex and Chris and Sheets and all those guys. Those guys can score on anybody. They just have a ton of talent. Stomps, you forgot to say something when you mentioned me in that game where I robbed you a couple of times. Junior threw a pass to you in front of that net, and you put those sweet mitts out there and tapped it into the open net like you've been doing it all your life. And I looked at you as the puck went in, and I'm like, not a lot of guys could get their hands on that because it had some heat on that. And those are the kind of goals that goalies just shake their head on because you can be in position or not be in position. I know you joke a lot about that stuff, but you got some sweet hands, bro, and you've been doing it for years. And as a goalie, it's tough to stop. It really is tough to stop because you're in the right places and you put the puck where it's supposed to be put. There are a lot of guys that can hit you in the chest for days. You're one of the guys that can put the ball where the ball needs to be put, and it's a tough thing for goalies.
That's nice of you to say that, but I mean, let me give you a name that you guys did not mention. Alex Marchinkowski. His length makes him just a bitch to handle. I mean, he is a handful when I play D against him. He kind of cuts to the middle, and he's just hard to keep under wraps because he's got that size, that wingspan. What about him?
I agree. Watching him play, that long reach that he has, it's hard because ball hockey, in my opinion, playing ball hockey, is sometimes harder than ice hockey, depending who you're playing against. The way from a goalie aspect, you can't just slide over to the side. So if somebody has you moving, your pads are up, and like the way that I play, I usually hop across to get across because I'm standing in that butterfly, keep my pads down. But if they got you moving, you gotta open up. There's gonna be spots that open up that wouldn't normally open up on ice hockey. And then same for the way that like these guys play, the moves that they make. You can't just glide back. You're running back, when you're playing out. So the guys who have good hands in ball hockey are the guys that are going to score, set up plays, and those are the guys that really change the game,
Definitely.
So that's my take on it.
My take on Alex is he's all arms and legs, obviously, and that's tough to stop. To me, that guy is too unselfish. I think if he had a little bit more selfishness, I think he would score a lot more goals. And he's great. I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's just very, very unselfish. And he's the kind of guy that could score a ton of goals because he has all the talent in the world, and he can move, and he knows how to play the game, and he moves without the ball well. Those are guys that to me, I call it the 50-50 proposition thing. You just hope you're in the right spot for it. And you hope you give yourself the best chance to stop the ball when guys like that come. So, yeah, he's great.
What do you think, Nav?
No, I like their synopsis. I do agree with Billy on Stomps' hands. We were actually, Billy, just to add to that, there's a couple of guys that are newer to the league. Gerard, you met Gerard Grabowski. He said something interesting last week about Stomps because he hasn't seen these guys. He hasn't seen Stomps play as long as you have, Billy. And he asked me, we're talking on the bench, and he looked over because Stomps was on, I think Stomps was on our team, and he asked me, he goes, does that guy ever make a mistake? I mean, does he ever make a bad, I know you don't like
Yeah, I make mistakes.
I think a lot of that might have to do with just, when you're rusty and stuff like that, but you always make the good decisions. That's what I noticed about Stomp's game. He makes good.
This show's not about me. So
yeah, but we'll just say a few things. It's New Year's. We do it once a year. Hey guys, while I got you on the show, we talked about a couple of goalies. I want to play a little game with you guys here, okay?
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna say a name of a goalie, and I'm gonna start with Rocco, and then I'm gonna go to Billy. I'm gonna say a name of a goalie, and I want you to give me one word that describes that goalie. The first word that comes to mind. Okay, I'm gonna start with Art.
Right.
I'm sorry, Rocco. Art. There you go.
Art. Loud.
Kenny. Billy Jacques. Kenny.
Sneaky.
can I say something about Art?
Sure, if you want to wreck the rhythm, go ahead.
The bathroom.
Porta potty. Art's house. Rocco. Jordan.
Solid.
Billy Jacques. Dave Schmiel.
Oh.
Old. No, I'm just kidding. Veteran.
Better. Rocco. Troy.
Or Troy. Frustrating. To play against, that is. To play against.
Billy Jacques. Bobby D.
Wow.
Stud, and stud.
Rocco. John Zilgies.
Oh man, I haven't really played against him that often. Think about it. One word that describes John. Tough.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Billy Jacques. Adam Bruno.
Go ahead, say it.
No. Listen, I've roomed with Adam in tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's hard because he athletic, big time.
Yeah. That's a good one. Rocco. Yeah. Steve Fiorito.
Let me do
All right, yeah, let Billy take it. Let Billy take it.
You want to take it, Billy?
this. Yes, I want to
I'm
take this
passing
one.
it on. Yep.
I've been calling him this name for Panther.
All right, we'll close with Billy because we got one more, and I know he could describe this guy really well to give the viewers some entertainment. Joe Coletta.
You're asking me to describe Joe Coletta?
Yeah.
Slippery.
Wow.
Did I miss any big time goalies? I know there's a couple ones I didn't mention, but we got Timmy who plays in net every once in a while. We got Lou Mangini who plays in net, and of course we got Miles as well. Those three
Well,
guys.
we've also got Peter. We've got Dre who plays goal. There's a few guys.
Dre's actually not a bad goalie. There was one game I played against him. I think we lost 11-2. Him and his team, they were good, and he made a lot of saves. So he's a decent goalie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, Rocco, speaking of, seems like you're a man with a lot of opinions. And
I forgot Kevin Adams too. That's another.
Oh, Kevin Adams. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
tall
Kevin.
for him.
We'd like to see more of Kevin get in some of these games, actually.
Yeah.
Now you made me forget my question.
Sorry.
Rocco, if there was one thing you could change about Woodridge in terms of how the league's being run right now, what would that be? And don't say the weather.
Oh, well, I like how the games are set up and played. I think the games go pretty smoothly. It really, the roster limit and stuff doesn't really affect the goalies because we play the whole game, so I can't say anything about that. Maybe the way we sign up. I've been lucky to get a spot, every week. I'm Johnny on the spot with signing up, but maybe somehow to do like priority for guys to get everyone to play. Other than that, I think the way, the time limit is and how it's set up during the play is good.
Eric's
not
done
a lot of complaints.
Really good job. Eric's done a great job with that, as has his management team. What about you, Billy? Would you change anything about the way Woodridge is being run?
No. I mean, with the goalies, there's not too many of us. And sometimes when I don't see that the games have been posted, it's too late. Maybe there could be a goalie rotation of some sort. I don't know if that would work or not. Because, if you wanted to play a 9:30 game, and let's just say Rocco already has the 9:30 game already down because he's Johnny on the spot. Maybe we can do some sort of rotation on that. I don't know. I mean, to me, the ability to have a place to play, especially now, is great. And I don't know how many goalies there are that would be in that rotation that are there consistent. I haven't been there as consistently as much as I have been in past years, but I know the Roccos and the Arts and guys who've been around in that. I know we can always get someone in to jump in. Andre does a nice job. Peter does a nice job to jump in. Chris does as well. I mean, there's a lot of people that can jump in. So maybe a rotation of goalies so we can make sure these guys get in on a weekly basis.
So speaking of which, what's the date you've marked your calendar for your big return?
So I'm going to take off one more week to make sure I get this COVID-19 stuff out of me, and I'll be back the following week.
We look forward to that. Back to you.
Me too.
That was a good one, Nav. I was going to ask the guys about, some of their favorite Woodridge goalies, but I like the one-word association game. So I think you came up with that on the fly. So nice job there, buddy. Hey, Rocco, I got to ask you a question because we've seen you in recent weeks play out. You've played some D and forward. And I'm trying to remember, were you playing out? It was a game over the summer at the Norwood Park outdoor rink. And I only played there once. And I think you played on, you may have even been on our team, and was that the game you were playing out for
Probably it was Billy and Bobby were the goalies? Is that
Yes.
what it was? It was like in July or something, maybe
Yeah,
even
yeah.
earlier. Yeah, I was there.
Because you were playing out there. You were playing. There was some other guy on a line with you that I've really never seen since then. But you guys had some good chemistry out there. But and again,
Maybe
you played.
Dan Mueller.
Pardon?
Dan Mueller might be the guy you're thinking
The guy.
about. He had long hair.
Yeah, it's Dan Mueller. Stomps. It's
What's
Dan
his name?
Mueller. He was the guy who was instrumental in getting the text going with getting players to come and play. He's good at organizing games, right, Rocco?
Oh yeah, he is. We play at Elmwood Park on Fridays, and he does a real good job setting it up, and he's always on top of it. You know, he's a real good guy too. Good friend of mine, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I saw him a lot in the tournament, but other than that, not too much at Woodridge. But I guess my question was going to be, you know, playing out some as you have in the past and recently, does that help your goaltending any, would you say? In some way?
Maybe being able to watch the other goalies, see what they do. You know, if they make a nice save on my shot, maybe I can, you know, watch what they did or watch what position they were in to make the save, you know. But it kind of messes with me mentally when I play out and then go back to goalie. It kind of throws me off a little bit. I kind of feel out of whack when I jump back in net. So same with jumping back from like ice to floor, kind of similar to that.
Interesting. How about you, Bill? I mean, Bill, you don't play much out, but every once in a while, I know you grab one of my sticks in the pregame, and you can let the pill go pretty well. Why don't you get out there and play on the back line and fire some ropes?
I appreciate what you guys do on the floor. I used to do it back in the day at Poplar Creek in the B League. I used to go out there a little bit, and I discovered that I didn't like to run. So running wasn't my strong suit. And I discovered that I could maybe shoot it a little bit, but it takes about 15 minutes for me to get that solid wind up back and forward and through. I just didn't enjoy it as much as goalie. So I stopped. And luckily for me, I did, because it would be a waste of space. Honestly, I appreciate what you guys do on the floor. I could never do it. I enjoy watching it. I like warming up with you guys and shooting the ball every once in a while, but that's about as far as it goes for me for being out.
Hey, Stomps, can I take a little twist here and ask these guys some personal questions?
As long as you're not going to ask about the vaccine or something insane like that.
Well, Billy doesn't need the vaccine. Okay. So, Rocco, let me ask you this. Where were you born?
I was born in Chicago here.
Okay. So clearly Stomps will always remind us that you have Italian heritage.
Yes, I do.
What's your favorite Italian meal?
Wow, that's one of the questions.
He stole it from me, man. I really like, my grandpa used to make every Sunday, he'd make pasta and like braciole and sausage. That stuff was always the best, you know. So I'd have to go with that. I know Stomps
brother,
like
man.
Favorite Italian restaurant in the Chicago area? Or is it Mom's Kitchen?
You know, there's some restaurants. Let me think of them. What's the one restaurant we used to go to?
You know, we're looking
it's escaping me right now. I got to think about it.
Well, you can think about it. We're looking for sponsorship. Yeah. So once we say the name of the restaurant, maybe they can fund our.
Hey, Billy, there was one up on the northwest side, probably not far from where you live. That was a classic, was Rosali's on like right around where Foster and Higgins intersect.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I remember that.
That place my dad used to take us to all the time. That was a classic. I mean, I think it's long since closed.
It has. There's a lot of good Italian restaurants by me, Zia's and Nonno Pino's. And I mean, as you can look at me, I like food. Italian food is one of my favorite things. I love stuffed shells. when it's made correctly with the ricotta cheese and stuff. Oh, it's tremendous. So big Italian food guy.
Well, I was gonna
Hey,
go.
I got the restaurant. It's
Okay,
Paretta's. Paretta's.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was
Paretta's.
my
Yeah.
uncle loved that place. Loved that place.
Hmm.
Nav will be calling there for sponsorship on Monday. I love it.
Writing. So, Billy, you and I went to an Italian restaurant a couple of months ago.
We did. We
And,
did. Yes.
We had a great time at the Italian Kitchen in Deerfield, Illinois.
Oh, it's wonderful.
So, we had a great meal. But Billy, here's a question for you. I know you always joke about the kind of food you like, and you like everything. You always say this to me. But here's the thing: you have a background, you have French Canadian background as well. I know that. You probably have some really diverse ethnicity, as do myself and Stomps. I don't know if you tuned into the last one. We've uncovered some really interesting things about our backgrounds. But Billy, what's your favorite ethnic food? And tell me where your go-to comfort restaurant is.
So I think I've told you this before, and I think you know the answer. It's a Mexican place called Garcia's. It's in Lincoln Square. My wife took me years ago, and it was a little hole-in-the-wall place, and now they've built it up to be a little bigger. But it is my go-to Mexican place. It is tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
That's Garcia's in Lincoln Square and Paretta's Italian. And then what's your best, and let me modify the question. You're at home, you're suffering with COVID, you're in the basement, you need to eat something that's going to give you comfort. What is that food?
Well, I can tell you from experience last week what it's been. My wife makes me some soup, and she puts eggs, and she puts hot sauce in it, and it burns my insides. And it makes me forget that I have COVID.
Well, it helps you sweat it out too.
Big time,
Yeah.
big time, big time. My girls have taken care of me, all my girls, my kids and my wife. They've done a great job.
Well, shout out to the Jacques girls for that. That's awesome. Back to you, Stomps.
Well, you were asking the personal questions.
Whoa.
I don't know where else you were going to go.
We're not going to talk about the vaccine, okay? Not today.
I see you stole some of my questions here. So I'm out of questions at this point.
All
I
right.
have some breaking news for you guys that
Oh, we love breaking news.
Uh-oh.
have come across the wire potentially.
Well, they want to
There has been a rumor in place that there is a potential Nav and Stomps to the Raider reunion. Let's just say, I just heard it. Don't know if it's true, but have heard the rumor of a Nav Stomps to the Raider reunion. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm speechless.
Right. I have no comment at this point.
I love it. I love it when the media says no comment. That is beautiful.
Speechless. Rocco, what was your most touching Christmas present you received this year?
Oh, well, I didn't really ask for a lot this year. You know, I'll say that, let's see, most touching.
And I didn't say best because I don't want to insult any of your gift givers, you know?
Yeah.
I probably
Most
insulted
touching.
already a handful of people on the show already. Unintentional.
Well, I didn't get a lot of stuff for Christmas this year. I did order myself some new goalie pads though, and some
Uh-oh.
goalie shoes.
Uh-oh.
So I'm waiting for those to come in.
That's pretty sweet.
But yeah, no, I didn't ask for anything. You know, I just bought myself stuff.
Good.
See,
Well-
it's like me. I like that.
Billy Jacques, this is a question I can't help but ask you about. In 2021, if there's one thing you want to do differently, what is that one thing?
Well,
I didn't say better. I didn't say what your New Year's resolution is. I just said if there's one thing you want to do differently.
Well, in 2020, I did something that I think everybody knows about, that I walked off the floor in a championship game because of my temper and my frustration. And in 2021, ever since that day happened, I'm working on not getting to that level where I kind of lose myself. And I know both of you guys, Stomps and Nav, play with me for a long time. You know I'm a fiery guy. But there's a difference between being a fiery guy and being someone that hurts their teammates. And that is what I am looking forward to doing this year, is to change the narrative about me a little bit. Because there are guys out there, whether they like me or don't like me, know that I am this guy. And I have been this guy for years. And I'm going to try to be better with that. And honestly, I was embarrassed by my actions, because that's never the way to handle anything. And just want to be better for that action that I created during a championship game against a good bunch of guys who play really, really hard. And that's what I'd like to change. That's what I hope to change.
Great. Well, listen, and I wasn't even going there, to be honest with you. You kind of shared that on your own. One of the things I would say is it's really good that you have that level of self-awareness, which I think we can all learn from and watch you as a leader in this sport. I like that, Billy, that you're open about your feelings and you're open about, I think that makes you the competitor that you are. So I give you kudos for that. It's been an absolute pleasure knowing you, playing alongside with you, learning how you communicate with your players. And even bigger is how you communicate off ice. I think that's huge. Even doing what you did today. I believe in being vulnerable and transparent. I think it makes us better people and makes those around us put down their walls. I still think we have a lot of work to do in this world in terms of getting to know each other. For those of you out there, you tuned in to our first episode of season 2 of the Neutral Zone. Stomps, with that said, any closing comments before I give people a rundown of what to expect in the coming weeks?
Well, everybody likes to make New Year's resolutions, and this time of year, obviously. I mean, I typically don't. I think we all look at ourselves and just try to improve as human beings year to year, and be better to our friends, to our family, to everybody else around us. My life is consumed a lot with my job, and then of course I like putting a lot towards the hockey stuff. This year I need to get back. We need to see our granddaughter. We didn't get to see her in 2020, in part because of this situation we're in. So yeah, I look forward to this year. But from a hockey front, things look bright for us. There's a lot of opportunities for all of us to play in different venues, and things that Frank's working on are pretty exciting for the older guys. And so we'll see what happens. It'll be fun.
Yeah, well said. Hey, Rocco, I know it's your first time out there on the show. Anything you want to tell to the viewers as we close out 2020 and get into 2021? Any last message you want to share with everybody?
Well, let's talk about that shoveling thing that we might do tomorrow to clean up the rink for Sunday so we could play. I went there Wednesday I've been off work for the week, so I was so bored. So I just decided to go bring a shovel and check out the rink. It was covered in snow. It was worse than what I thought it was going to be. But I feel like if we get 5 or 6 people for tomorrow, just to clean it up, get some of the snow off, get some of the ice off, we could be good to go for Sunday. So it'd be great if people come out. I think it was posted on the team app already. So that'd be good. Get one more game in before all the weather gets real bad.
Yeah. Do you have a snow removal team identified? I know a couple people have already volunteered. And there's
I haven't looked. I haven't looked at the app. I'm in, but I'll have to check it out.
I think I think the challenge, because I was there yesterday, because when you were there doing, trying to clear it off, Rocco, it was probably what, like kind of heavy, wet snow.
Yeah, it was, and then the top started to ice over.
Yeah, so it was very much icy yesterday.
Yeah,
Which really hard to put a shovel to. There's a good chunk of the north end is cleared for the most part, although there's some piles up against the backboards. I always worry about that south end, which is for whatever reason holds the water and the moisture, and it was just a sheet of ice. I mean, so I guess it depends. I don't know. We're supposed to get 3 inches of snow tonight, possibly.
yeah, that won't help our cause there.
I mean, I live close. I'm willing to go out there and see what I can do to help. But and I love the attitude of wanting to do that. Just those people want to play.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll probably go by there at some point tomorrow.
right. Well, Eileen's going to bring some cookies and I think hot chocolate and stuff like that. So make sure you coordinate your timings with her so you can get fed.
Yeah, for sure.
Billy Jacques, anything you want to share with the world as we close out 2020? Anything you want to say to the viewers out there about 2021? A message of hope? Anything?
So 2021, we have a lot of opportunity to play. There's this new league that's coming that Frank is working on details with. There's the Woodridge to Palatine. I would tell everybody to let their friends who don't play know about this wonderful sport that we've been a part of for years and years and years. It is an exciting sport. It is a fun sport. It is a competitive sport, but we want to try to draw as many people as possible to this great sport, because when it's time for us to hang them up, Navi and Stomps, we want to see these young guys continue the Chicago ball hockey scene and keep it strong. So what I want for 2021 is for to just keep the sport in mind and talk to your friends, talk to family, talk to people you know. A lot of people say a lot of people who play ice hockey don't want to play ball hockey or have this negative connotation of ball hockey. It's more difficult because you can glide on skates and you don't have to do as much stopping and starting and running and stuff like that. The competition and the people are fantastic. I've met a lot of people playing this game who are dear friends. I just want there to be a continuation of this momentum, because we've done a lot of nice things, guys like you and Stomps with this show, and Eric and Frank and Lou and Andre and all the other guys who are part of this to keep this sport front of mind. Guys like Rocco, I love seeing guys like Rocco who are excited to go and shovel snow to play hockey. That's tremendous. That means he loves to play, and I love seeing that. I just want it to continue because you guys, there's a lot of, it's just a lot of fun. And Stomps, my one thing for 2021 with you is you are going to travel with us to this tournament, this Masters tournament. We need you out there. You need to have fun with this. You'll need to feel how it is to travel. Nav, you've done it before. I would like the hotel room right next to Nav and the hotel room right next to Stomps, because that should be some fun time. So Stomps, get out. Let's go. We need you out to a tournament. We'll have so much fun.
Yeah, that's a great plug. No, that's great. I think we're getting close, Billy, to getting him finally convinced. So those of you who just tuned in, we are about to conclude season 2's episode 1 of the Neutral Zone here as we kick off the new year. I want to just extend a special thanks to Rocco Giampietro and William Jacques for joining us today on the Neutral Zone. I hope you've had as much fun as Stomps and I have had, and I hope we can welcome you back to the show and you'd always agree to come back and be guests on our show. We'd love to have you. In the coming weeks, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have some really exciting things. Stomps and I are going to try to talk to the women of the sport and get them on an upcoming episode. And then we'll have to definitely, to Billy's point earlier, we're going to have to get some updates on what's happening with the new league that Frank's working on, as well as the Masters and the direction that that's going. So look forward to next week's episode to be one with a lot of information. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, especially to our guests today. Please, when you get this video, share it with your friends, your family. We love the support. We need the support. We can't be successful without all you viewers and esteemed guests out there. So everybody, I wish you a very happy, safe, and healthy 2021.
Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Back and forth through the kitchen, remembering the nights we spent out. It seems so far away, distant.